I have the craziest health story that I'm going to be vulnerable and share, so please don't judge. And listen to the end because it probably doesn't end like you think. So several years ago, my daughter and I started to have an itchy butt. I know we're totally going here, and I know you guys can handle it. I started researching online what, my symptoms might be pointing to, and all things were looking like pinworms. This completely grossed me out to no end to think that these little worms were coming out of my butt and were causing this insane itching. So we did some natural remedies for pinworms, as well as lots of cleaning because it's supposedly super contagious. And several weeks went by and this was not getting any better at all. After a month of this, I finally broke down and did the over-the-counter pinworm treatment. Again, nothing changed in terms of our symptoms. And by this time, we were so uncomfortable, we could hardly sit still, and we were having a hard time getting to sleep because of this. This was one of the most uncomfortable things that I've ever experienced, and I'm not dramatizing this at all. Now, nobody else in our family was really affected though, which seemed kind of crazy and didn't make any sense for pinworms. I decided to go and make an appointment at the local clinic and get myself examined to see if there was something that I was missing. I brought my daughter along with me in case she needed to be examined as well, but I hoped it didn't come to that. I explained to the doctor what was going on, and I let them know that it was not a yeast infection. I'd had those before, and I knew what it felt like, and this was not it. She asked me to get into an exam gown, and she took a look. And the first thing she said was, "Oh yeah, this doesn't look like a yeast infection," which I felt was a little rude because I had already told her it wasn't one. She didn't believe me. She didn't really say a whole lot. She took a culture and then prescribed me a cream to put on multiple times a day, as needed. When we applied the cream, things instantly calmed down. I was so excited and thought, we must be on the right track. The doctor's office called me soon after and let me know that the culture had come back and it was not pinworms or yeast. I thought this was interesting because the cream seemed to be making things feel better. But when I ran out and stopped using it, all our symptoms immediately came rushing back. And that's when I looked at the bottle a little more carefully and did some research, which I probably should have done before that. I looked up the active ingredients and realized that they were, get this, for yeast. I had told her it wasn't a yeast infection, and she confirmed it during the exam and with the lab that it wasn't a yeast infection. So why had she given me a prescription for yeast? And more importantly, why was it working? I was so confused by this point. So this was in a base of zinc oxide, which I knew was soothing. It's what they use in diaper creams. And I actually had some homemade zinc oxide cream on hand. And when I started just using that, I noticed it had the same calming effect exactly that the cream she prescribed. So it wasn't the prescription ingredients that were doing the magic here. However, anytime I stopped using the zinc cream, everything came back. So this still was not fixing the problem and getting to the root issue. This was just a symptom manager. And frankly, I didn't want to have my panties covered with this white cream for the rest of my life. So I made another appointment to see the doctor again. I came in excited and gave her the update of what had gone on, thinking this information might help her to know what the real issue was so we could get on with this. She looked uninterested and calmly looked at me and said, "Well, sometimes when you've had a really bad rash for a really long time, when it finally goes away, it just feels like it's still there." Seriously? I didn't even know what to say to that. But I realized in that moment, she had no answers, no other tests or tools to help find the answers. And she was telling me politely that she was tapping out. So I said, "Thank you very much." And I took my daughter with me and we left. And when we got out into the parking lot, my daughter turned to me and said, "Mom, did she just say you're crazy?" Yep, that's exactly what she was saying. And I laughed because, well, if I didn't laugh, I would cry. She was saying that I was imagining things, which I clearly was not. And I was so glad that my daughter also had this going on to validate me, because otherwise I might have just believed that I was crazy. Although, of course, I didn't want my daughter to be suffering with this just as I was. And even if I could go forever on the zinc cream, couldn't do that to her. But we kept using the zinc oxide and I kept trying to figure out what was going on, but I was kind of at a dead end. I really didn't know where else to look or what else to do except pray that something would turn up. Now, we took a trip to visit my parents in Arizona that summer, and keep in mind that all this started the previous fall. About a month after we were home, my mom called all excited. She said that when we had been out visiting her, she had bought us the Kirkland toilet paper that she knew we usually used and put it in the room we were staying in. But last week, she had run out of her regular toilet paper and had gone into that room and borrowed some extra toilet paper from the Kirkland stash. And immediately she had gotten a rash that sounded exactly like what I had been describing and complaining about for the past year. I was stunned. I didn't believe what I was hearing. Could toilet paper be giving me a rash? I had to test this theory. So I thanked her profusely and immediately ran out to the store and got the cheapest one-ply toilet paper, as that was what I probably figured had less chemicals in it. Sure enough, when I stopped using the zinc oxide and used this one-ply toilet paper, the rash stopped. Now, you think about it. We all know that any kind of paper is made from trees, but I had never really thought about how in the world they got a tree to be so nice and soft and plush. Of course, they had to use a profound amount of chemicals and processing to get it that way, but what chemicals? So while I was doing a little happy dance that we had figured this out, I still wanted to learn more about what chemical I was having a reaction to so that I could avoid it in our other products. So I called Costco and explained the story to them. See, we had been using Kirkland toilet paper for over 10 years, but both my daughter and I had started getting these issues at the same time, the previous fall. So I asked them nicely, hey, did you change the formulation? What chemicals are in it? Because I'm really desperate to figure out what I'm having this kind of reaction to. Well, they hemmed and hawed, and they probably thought I was trying to sue them somehow, and they wouldn't give me an answer or even give me an offer to have someone get back to me with any information. So since then, I have talked with many other people, and I have discovered that we are not alone in having this issue. And there are other brands that create the same reaction, mainly the really nice soft ones. But from what my butt says, the Kirkland one's the worst offender. So did I need to stay on the zinc oxide forever as the doctor insinuated? No. I needed to get to the root cause of what was causing this in the first place. Now, why am I sharing this disgusting story with you? First off, I want you to see that there are toxins in a lot of things that you might never have thought of or realize that you were being exposed to. Just in this one realm, there are so many other feminine hygiene care products, incontinence products, diapers, and the list goes on in terms of products that might contain this mystery chemical. And this is all on top of all the zillions of chemicals in things like deodorants and hairsprays and nail polishes. I mean, if you use it, if you purchase it, it probably has some kind of chemical in it. And depending on your constitution, it may be something that bothers you. And to make it even more complicated, there's also the idea and concept of how these chemicals add up and interact with other chemicals you're using in order to hit your tipping point of what you can handle. Check out my detox videos to dive into this aspect deeper. It was so interesting with my huge family to see that only 2 of us were really bothered by this. I think that probably the others had better detox capacities genetically or maybe wiped their butts less. Who knows? But I want you to keep in mind that toxins are in places you may not be thinking about. Do you have weird places that you found toxins that are bothering you in different products? Drop them below because I would love to hear your stories. Know that there is hope, and I'm here to share gross stories with you as well as help.